Remember when everyone would ask you when you were little, what do you want to be when you grow up? And now we're grown up and don't know what we're doing with our lives? Hi, my name is Madeline and I am a college and career life coach. I help high school students, college students, and young adults navigate the confusion that is life after graduation. Whether it's choosing your first career path or changing to a new career path, I am here to help you figure out what it is that you are doing with your life. So welcome, get comfortable, and let's hang out together. Hello, welcome back. Thank you for being here. I'm going to continue our frequently asked questions series where I answer questions that are frequently asked about college and career related topics. So today I'm going to answer the question, can college help you get a job? So my first answer to that would be yes and no, which obviously I'll explain, but there's just so many different situations depending on the person. So it's hard to give a general yes or no answer because every person is in their situation is going to look different. In the last episode, I touched a little bit on the difference between trade schools and regular universities. So I will say with a trade school, the chances of having excellent job placement afterwards are very high just because you're getting that hands-on training through that type of school, and a lot of times you're partnering with potential employers. So I think if you're looking for something that's going to give you excellent job placement, then a trade school or some type of program where you're doing hands-on training, like another type of program that's not necessarily at a trade school that I can think about is like a cosmetology program. You're doing hands-on training, you're practicing on real people, you're gaining, potential clients. So I just feel like any type of program where you're getting that hands-on training, you're getting exposure to what that career field is actually like before you even graduate, I think those types of things are going to give you the highest chances of career placement after graduation. Another thing that I touched on in the last episode was that I also had a good experience at my own trade school with job placement after graduation. Because we did clinical at local clinical sites and they were able to see us in action, the clinical site that I was at in my last semester ended up offering me a job before I even graduated because they had seen the way I worked, the way I interacted with others, and they wanted me on their team. And a lot of times that's how it works. I mean, I can't think of any of my classmates that didn't have a job lined up either before or not long after graduation. So that really is a good experience to have if you're looking to, hurry up. Well, not really hurry up, but if you're not looking to play around, if you just want to get to it, don't waste your time on classes you don't need. Just get your education that you absolutely need and then get straight into your field and start working. Now, moving on to a university, that is necessary in some cases, depending on what your field of study is, but also depending on what your field of study is, you may or may not be guaranteed a job in your field with just a bachelor's degree alone. Before I ended up in my trade school, I myself was at a university and I was a psychology major. I've always loved psychology. I was on the track to get my bachelor's in psychology. I had a minor in Spanish, and I wanted to go to grad school to be an occupational therapist. So I had it all, figured out. I was planning on going to extra schooling, right? Some people will enter into college with only the intentions of getting a 4-year degree and not necessarily interested in further schooling. And there are some majors that, if you really want to be placed within your field, require you to get further schooling. And I'm only speaking from the experience that I have and the things that I've realized, going to college myself, but also seeing my friends graduate from college. I have a friend who graduated from college with a psychology major or a psychology degree, and he didn't go past his 4 years. He only got a bachelor's degree, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it was hard for him to find placement in his field. And now he has managed multiple retail stores and is making a living for himself doing that. Did he necessarily need to go to college? No, but I don't think he knew that it was going to end up like that. But if he knew that he had the interest in working in retail, he probably could have started there and worked his way up and avoided college altogether. Unfortunately, there are many people in my life that I know have a similar story where they went to college for a particular subject, got their bachelor's, didn't want to go to any further schooling, and ended up not even working in their field. Now, granted, did some of those jobs require them to have a college degree? Maybe. But if they didn't end up working in their field, then whatever you decide to study in college for them didn't even necessarily matter. And that's just, I don't even know if their jobs required them to have a college degree either way, but that's just an example. Even if they did, it didn't matter what they got their studies done under, they weren't working in a related field. So I wanted to also use that type of situation as an example of how complicated the answer to that question is, because yes, college may get you a job, but is it absolutely necessary for you to get a job? No. And if your sole purpose is to go to college, study a certain topic, and then get a job in that field, in that career field, then depending on what you choose and depending on how much schooling you're willing to go to, you may not be guaranteed a job in that field. So I had mentioned psychology being my major and psychology being the major of my friend who ended up not getting placed in his career field, or his field of study, I should say. So psychology is definitely one of the majors that I feel like to really be placed in the field, you have to get schooling past your bachelor's degree, past 4 years. And this is just what I've noticed off of my own experience and my own research. So if, you're someone listening to this, or someone who got a job in their field with just a bachelor's degree and they're doing something psychology related, I'd love to know about it. I want to know about all the options that are out there so that I can better serve my clients. So I would definitely appreciate if you knew something to let me know. But I will say there was one opportunity that I had learned about. I used to work at a daycare for special needs, and they had play therapists there. And when they were hiring one, I believe that they said all that they required was a bachelor's degree in either psychology or sociology, something like that. So that's one example of like one random thing. Like I only came across that one time though. So I don't know like how often that actually happens. But I'm sure there are like little career opportunities out there like that allow you to only have a bachelor's and, start to build your career off of that. But for most things like becoming a counselor or doing research psychology or all the things in between, normally you have to get more than your bachelor's degree. I will say I don't know much about like what it takes to become like a professor or a teacher for psychology, but other than that, pretty much everything has to have extra schooling. To name a few other majors that have similar job placement to psychology, meaning it's more than likely if you want to get placed directly in your field, you have to get further education, would be biology, chemistry, things like that, communications, sociology, psychology, I mentioned that one already, political science. Those are just a few of the things I can name off the top of my head that I've seen people graduate with those majors and not place in their field. Now, on the other hand, off the top of my head, majors that I've seen people place well with would be nursing. Although I feel like most people don't go directly into a university for nursing, like directly into their bachelor's degree. I spoke about that in the last episode. I feel like most people, do the building blocks and like build into their bachelor's, like slowly with their certificate and then their associates, so on and so forth. But I will say for the people that get their bachelor's in nursing straight out the gate, they still get placed in their field. Teaching as well is another one that I know people go directly into their jobs after getting their bachelor degree. And really those are just the only two I can think of off the top of my head. That doesn't mean that there's not more, but like I said, I'm speaking from my own experience, what I've seen people do. So again, share with me if you know of somebody who went straight into their field after their 4-year degree, because I would love to know what type of jobs allow just the bachelor's degree in whatever that certain field of study may be, because I want to continue to grow my knowledge and the things that I can pass off to my clients. All right, so to summarize all this, can college get you a job? Yes. Can you get a job without college? Yes. Should you carefully choose your major if you don't want to go past a bachelor's degree? Probably, if you don't want it to end up like a waste of time, or if you don't want to end up not using it. But that's where I said it gets complicated, because it just depends on every individual situation and what you're looking to get out of college, what your goals are post-graduation, and things like that. And so if you want to talk a little bit more with me about what that might look like for you, I will leave the link to book a free 30-minute call with me down below in the show notes. So feel free to reach out and book with me, and we can chat more about you and your situation. I do have an exciting announcement. I have some interviews coming soon. I have set up a podcast recording spot so that eventually I can put out videos of me talking instead of just recordings of my voice. So all of those exciting things will be coming soon. I'm hoping to get these interviews done, or these first few interviews done, and put them out hopefully in the next episode or so. So stay tuned. We'll see how that goes. And until I see you next time, stay safe, and let's hang out again soon.